This is KGW News at noon.
Thank you for joining us today. I'm Brenda Braxton. We are following that big news from the governor's news conference just moments ago. Oregon is speeding up its rollout of the COVID-19 vaccine. Kate Brown just announced that more help is on the way.
We are deploying the National Guard to provide vaccination support starting this weekend with Salem Health's vaccination event at the state fairgrounds.
The governor says National Guard members will provide logistical and nursing support. The goal is to administer 250 vaccines an hour. Oregon leaders say they're making steady progress, hitting the goal of giving out 12,000 vaccines a day by the end of next week. Governor Brown says we're still waiting to see if we will have a second coronavirus surge this winter because of the Christmas holidays. In the meantime, the United States once again topped its daily record for COVID cases and deaths. 4,100 deaths were reported yesterday nationwide. 268,000 new people tested positive. And this week, more than 1.6 million new cases were diagnosed nationwide. Now, here in Oregon, the state reported 10 more deaths and 867 new cases. The Oregon Health Authority says yesterday's case count is a little bit lower than expected because of technical issues. In Washington, D.C. today, Democrats are discussing whether they can impeach President Trump as soon as next week. And House Speaker Nancy Pelosi wants to limit the president's access to the country's nuclear codes. In the meantime, flags at the Capitol are at half-staff in honor of a fallen policeman who died during Wednesday's riot. Officer Brian Sicknick went back to his office and just collapsed after physically engaging with Trump extremists. That brings the death toll to 5. This all comes as President Trump announced he will not attend the inauguration on January 20th. Tracy Potts has more on the latest developments.
And confidence in all.
In a new White House video, President Trump acknowledges Joe Biden's victory.
A new administration will be inaugurated on January 20th.
And changes his message to rioters who broke into the Capitol.
To those who broke the law, you will pay.
More than 200 lawmakers want the president removed or impeached for inciting the riot, including one Republican.
The president is unmoored from reality and from his oath.
Democrats have written articles of impeachment, hoping to act in the 12 days before Biden's inauguration.
He unleashed an all-out assault on our institutions of our democracy from the outset.
The vice president and the cabinet won't invoke the 25th Congress. Congress should come back in session immediately and impeach the president.
Even Republicans who don't want the president removed agree he bears some responsibility.
His angry rhetoric was reckless.
His actions were the problem, not the solution.
More than half a dozen administration officials have resigned since the Capitol attack, including Transportation Secretary Elaine Chao and Education Secretary Betsy DeVos, some specifically citing President Trump directing angry mobs to march to the Capitol and fight.
I can't stay here, not after yesterday.
Capitol Police Chief Stephen Sund also resigned under fire for failing to prevent the massive security breach. Tracy Potts, NBC News, Washington.
Okay, check out this video. This big old landslide has partially closed Highway 30 about 3 miles east of Astoria. One lane is open, but if you drive that way, expect delays. There are some detours to get around this big slide. You can take SR 4 if you're up in Washington, or highways 202 and 47 here in Oregon.